Okay, let's try a little thought experiment. I want you to picture something with me. We're going to jump forward in time, but just a little bit. Imagine, it's the year 2035.
It's morning. You wander into your kitchen, you open the fridge, and it's kind of empty. You go to make your usual breakfast, but you realize something is seriously wrong. Those fresh strawberries you love, gone. The almond butter for your toast, vanished. And that morning cup of coffee, the one you can't live without, it now costs a small fortune. And chocolate, well, that's become a treat for the super rich. This isn't some crazy sci-fi movie plot. This could actually be our reality.
So, what's the connection between all these missing foods? Well, the answer is a tiny, buzzing insect we completely take for granted. Most of us hear bees and we immediately think honey. But that's not even scratching the surface of how important they really are.
Just look at this comparison. It's kind of wild, right? On one side, you've got making honey, which is great. We all love it. It's a sweet bonus. But on the other side, you have the absolutely gigantic job of keeping our entire global food system from falling apart. Yeah, that's the real job of a bee.
I know. Saying they keep our food system alive sounds dramatic. So let's put a real number on it. How much of the food we pile onto our plates every single day is actually there thanks to these little guys? 1/3. That number is just mind-blowing. Let that sink in. 1 out of every 3 bites of food you take only exists because a bee or some other pollinator did its job. We're not talking about a small fraction here. That's a massive fundamental pillar of our food supply. So the big question is, what happens if we pull that pillar out? Well, it wouldn't just be a little crack in the foundation. It would set off a catastrophic domino effect, what you could call the Great Food Collapse. Let's walk through exactly how that would play out. It starts out pretty simple. The bees disappear. And without them, all these key plants, fruits, vegetables, nuts, they just can't reproduce. That leads to catastrophic crop failures, which shatters our already fragile food supply chains. And boom, you've kicked off a global food crisis. Just picture the produce section at your local supermarket. All those vibrant colors. Now start erasing them. Take away the apples, the cherries, blueberries and strawberries, gone. Melons, cucumbers, pumpkins, almost all of them need bees to grow. Our diets would suddenly become very, very bland. And believe it or not, it gets worse. Take almonds. They are 100% dependent on bee pollination. 100%. The entire multi-billion-dollar almond industry in California would just cease to exist. No bees, no almonds. End of story. And coffee. Its flowers only open for a few days each year. If a bee doesn't visit in that tiny window, no coffee beans. Same deal for the cocoa plants that give us our beloved chocolate. And this is where it really hits your wallet. I mean, look at this. Foods we think of as everyday items would become ridiculously expensive. Sure, farmers could try to pollinate by hand, but that's incredibly slow and costs a fortune. Your daily coffee would literally become a luxury good, and fresh berries would be a treat only the super wealthy could afford. And this goes way, way beyond just us in our grocery bills. A lot of the plants that our livestock eat, things like alfalfa and clover, they're pollinated by bees too. So less feed means the price of meat, milk, and eggs would go through the roof. And beyond the farm, whole ecosystems would begin to unravel as birds, bears, and countless other animals lose their primary food sources. Okay, so this all sounds absolutely terrifying, right? And it begs the obvious question, why? Why is this even happening? Why are these incredibly important creatures just disappearing? Well, scientists have pinpointed a few key culprits behind this silent threat. It's really not just one thing. It's more like a perfect storm. The massive, widespread use of certain pesticides is a huge problem. At the same time, we're paving over all the wild meadows and flower fields that they need for food. Then you throw in new diseases and the constant stress from a changing climate, and you've created a nightmare scenario for them. And the results of that perfect storm are just staggering. This isn't some far-off, slow-moving problem. Just get a load of this quote. In some places, beekeepers are losing up to half of their hives every single year. This is happening right now, and it is happening fast. All right, I know, after all of that doom and gloom, it is so easy to feel completely helpless. But I want to shift gears right now because this story does not have to end this way. It's not too late. We can still do something about it. So that's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? Are we just locked into this future? Is this horrible food collapse simply inevitable?
The answer? Not yet. And honestly, that is the single most important message of this whole explainer. This is a future that we can still prevent.
And you know what the best part is? Every single one of us can help. You don't have to be a scientist or a big shot politician. You can plant a few bee-friendly flowers, even if it's just in a pot on your balcony. You can buy honey from local beekeepers to support them. You can stop using pesticides in your own garden. Every little action really truly helps. So I really hope that the next time you see a bee buzzing by, you see it a little differently. Not as a pest to be swatted away, but as this tiny, tireless worker, an ally that's out there fighting every day to keep your plate full, your food affordable, and our entire planet in balance. So I'll just leave you with this one thought. The next time you sit down to eat, whether it's that juicy apple, the crunch of an almond, or that first sip of coffee, just ask yourself, which bite of this am I going to thank a bee for today?